You can never tell me. You can never tell me. I won't rise.
I think no matter where you are in your perspective as far as life, as far as the things that you are doing, I think there is always something that you can take out of it. I know that for a lot of our episodes, we probably cover creatives and artists, but there are definitely life applicable things that can be translated into just everyday life, into everything that we do. And I think that's one of the fair reasons why I think people should watch the podcast, is because as creatives, we're also people too. So we're kind of applying the things that we learn in our creative lives of, scheduling and balancing. Like, those are things that you can apply within just your everyday life. So I think there's a lot of applicable skills that can kind of be bounced between the both. So even if we're talking about music, there's things that you can take away. If we're talking about photography, if we're talking about writers, if we're talking about business owners, all of these different types of people that we've had on the podcast, it allows you to take what's being said and just be able to apply it to your life. And I think, that is kind of what makes us a little bit different, is that our goal is to truly be as relatable as possible, even in the things that we're saying. And I know there's a lot of podcasts out there that are really trying to connect with people and things of that nature. And obviously our goal is like that too. And we just want to provide another source for people to be able to just connect, to grow, and to just also share perspectives when it comes to just everyday life, because we all have different perspectives. There's all different ways of doing things. Everybody goes through different things, and we just want people to be able to connect with that and just see a different perspective.
We speak from the heart. And, just by going off, no script at all, it allows us to connect with, not only our guests, but like our audiences as well, like whoever's watching. Like a lot of what Jay Faith said as well, like we, share like a lot of like valuable information on like how you can improve in life, and, not just like the creative side. So, yeah.
So why should people tune into the Right Mind podcast? Me personally, I think what makes the podcast different is the fact that like it's unique in itself, because we're all unique. We come from, we have a lot of like things that are in common, but we also are able to our different experiences, or maybe as an artist or me as a photographer, I can give a different perspective and they can give a different perspective. So I always feel like you're learning and growing, or you're helping somebody learn and grow. And I think that's very important in the industry that we're in and what we're trying to do. Just because, like, someone may not, like, you may give someone a piece of advice that can change their life. You know what I mean? Or the trajectory on their career and what they're striving for as far as goals. But, it's knowledge shared. You know what I mean? Like that's another reason why people should tune in. Definitely.
People can gain new perspectives, and guests can touch up on what's important.
You might learn something new, or even teach someone else something, and that's right there. That's just very valuable in itself, man. A lot of people aren't willing to share wisdom and knowledge with maybe somebody they don't even know. A lot of our guests we have on here, yeah, we know them because they're like social media presidents, you know what I mean? But meeting someone in person and having a good conversation with them, I know me personally, I've walked away myself every podcast, and there's something in there that I didn't have knowledge of or know of before I got to it. I think that's why everyone should just want to be involved in the podcast and be on it, and just be involved in the conversation, because there's true, genuine conversations. It shows the opposite side of people, you know what I mean? And I think that's pretty cool. We give a place where like you can show who you are, not necessarily like everything's about what you do. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's cool that you're an artist, but like, who is the artist? You know what I mean? Who are you as a normal human being? You know what I mean? And this, I feel that the podcast is great space for that. Like, that's what we try to push. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely would have to agree with what Crispy said. I think this is a platform that allows our artists, or I shouldn't even say artists, just our guests in general, to be able to come on, be able to dive deep. We, one, don't really come with a certain question answer type platform. Our goal is to just simply have a conversation. And within that, our goal is for our guests to be able to dive deeper into who they are than just the surface level questions of who they are and what they do, but who is the person that is sitting next to us having a conversation, down to what are some of the things that they've been through that have created them into the person that they are today, and what are the things that they're going through now that will potentially project them into who they will be into the future. And so I think that's one valuable reason why people should come onto the podcast. And again, we're just here to have that conversation. It isn't anything that is misleading. Whatever comes up happens. And again, as Crispy said, even for me, walking away from an episode, I take something away, and it's an opportunity for you to share something, a different perspective. This is a place that allows different perspectives to be open and to allow people to share that in kind of a judgment-free space. I know a lot of different podcasts, it's, their way or the highway, and we want to be able to hear different perspectives. We've had many times where artists have come on, for example, and, Life and I have had different perspective on maybe performances, and the guest has come on and shared a different perspective and why that is the way that they view it that way. And it's changed our perspective a little bit on that as well too. So it's really a safe space to truly share who you are without, people looking down on you. And we're going to promote exactly who you are versus what we think people should see you as when we launch your episode.
Ooh, that's a good one. Me personally, what the Right Mind podcast means to me when I think of it, it's in the name. To get in the right mind. By the right mind, I mean putting God first, being positive, being loving, being caring, just in the right mind, positive thinking, not, just having your mental in check to know that you're in the right mind. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just, to me, it's that simple. You know what I mean? It really is. To others, it may not be, but that's me personally.
So Right Mind essentially came about, and I'll try to give a long story less long, as Crispy would say, is as a writer, we are here to this guy to tell stories of who we are as people. And I think this wasn't my initial vision, but as I'm sitting here answering this question, I think we're all writing a story. And I think we are trying to navigate that. And some of the challenges can be just where our minds are, where our hearts are. And so we want to have this space and storytelling to be able to allow people to add to their story, to take information, to apply it to themselves, how they see fit, and continue to write their own story. And like Crispy said, to be in a good space, obviously God first, but also just learning to navigate this world in whatever space that you are in, whether you're stay-at-home mom, dad, to a creative, to a business owner, whatever it may be. It's just applying tips, tools, and tricks to be able to help people grow. So that's kind of the direction of what, this podcast has meant for me, in just personally, and why I started the podcast. And it's been a journey to be able to bring along some great people and additions to this podcast that it's no longer become just mine, but it's ours now at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about, fitness, music, and other creative endeavors that people are on. We just talk about everything. We all go through things behind the scenes, whether it be good or bad. And we have our ways of getting through things, and if like certain things haven't fully processed, we help try to like bridge the gap, and just make a difference in everyone's lives, not just yours, not just ours, but everybody's.
For me, what I want people to get out of each episode is at least one thing. I know that we try to keep our episodes usually an hour and a half, so not too long as far as content wise, but I think if you can walk away with at least one piece of information that you can apply for yourself. We've kind of answered some of these as far as just, is it inspirational? Is it, something that they can use practical tools? And yes, all of the above. Obviously, those are pretty self-explanatory things that we want people to take away. But in just being realistic, I just hope and pray that through each episode, our viewers are able to watch and take at least one thing. I think it sometimes it just takes one thing in order to spark an additional conversation, something in their lives that helps them take it to the next step of whatever it is that they're trying to do. So I just hope that they take away at least one thing from an episode.
Yeah, it's all of the above. We want to give you the practical tools to inspire you to set sail on your creative journey. Whether you're just starting out, whether you have been doing it for a long time and are stuck, we're all in that same boat. We're here to help, and walk away inspired, walk away motivated. Stay true to yourself.
Yeah, it really is. It's everything. It's a little bit of deep. It's a little bit of practical tools. It's honestly main thing right with me is I want our listener or our guests to walk away and not feel like they wasted their time. Meaning, like they had a meaningful conversation, they learned something, they gained something, they shared something. A lot of positivity maybe came out of it. Maybe they're having a bad day and they didn't even want to come, but they came and had a good conversation. And it changed their way. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, I want them to feel like they walk away with something. You know what I mean? And not have your time wasted. I've done stuff before and I get it done and I'm like, why did I even do that? I gained nothing from that. And that's what I don't want for our guest.
Man, it is.
DJ, all right?
It's super, super, super needed because, there's just too much authenticity in the world of creators abroad. And like we shed light on the importance of being who you are through every step of the process. But everybody involved, whether it's, the host, guests, or listeners, it's important to be authentic. Because it's very easy, like once things pop off, it's very easy to, give into, comments on social media and, you get a lot of hate, you get a lot of negative responses to things. But like if you're putting yourself out there, like, always remember, like, those type of comments don't matter. Like what matters is the people, that appreciate what you do and, want to be invested in it and, kind of feel the same way that you want them to feel because it makes you feel that way. So like the more authentic you are, there's more longevity in that. And, people can see it, whether you're being real or not. It's super important. All of the other stuff just fizzles out.
So we definitely, so everything we do, we always allow God to work through us in that moment. You know what I mean? The real conversation, it's what that is we have real honest conversations here. This is a safe space for everybody. It doesn't matter what you do, what you don't do, what you speak on, what you don't speak on. You know what I mean? We do not judge any of our guests for anything that they say or while they're here or questions. And I'd like to think vice versa. Like a lot of our guests, or I hope all of our guests don't judge us. You know what I mean? But we just allow a safe space where we can have that real conversation that is needed. And real deep conversations about everything far in between.
I think this question was perfect, especially with just the circumstances of things, that the way that we have seen, especially in news and the turn of events of things that have happened. I think there needs to be a space where people are able to tell their truth. We may not always agree on everything. Again, we are Christians, we are God believers, God fearing people, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a space for people who aren't like that. And I think now more than ever, I think that's what this world does need, is spaces for people to be able to safely share their opinion, to have a platform to be able to share their perspective, share their beliefs, and not be judged, but to be heard. And I think that is what's most important, is for people to be able to be heard. We talk about freedom of speech and then it's cut down. And I'm not going to get too political about it or anything like that, because that's really not where our podcast tends to lean. But all in all, it's really about being, like the question says, sharing your faith, whatever that faith may be, whatever creative processes you have, whatever conversation piece that you want to bring up. This is a platform to do it. We're going to be respectful and mindful of people. That is our number one thing. But the respect goes full circle, and we want our guests to feel that they're respected. We want to feel respected, and we want our listeners to feel respected at the same time, but also to hear, just to be open to hear a different perspective. And so I think there needs to be more spaces like that, not diminish those spaces. So that is our goal as a podcast, is to be able to just open up that space in another area. I know another podcast, but just allowing people to have that space to just share who they are and what they do.